the sex trafficking trial against Sean Diddy Combs continues. Right now, witness testimony entering its fourth week. Joining us live from outside of that courthouse is Associated Press reporter Larry Newmeister, who has been covering this entire case extensively. Larry, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I know you stepped out. You've been inside of the court today. What has happened so far?
Well, it's the third day of testimony by Mia. That's the pseudonym she's going by. She is the second of three women during this expected to be at least 6 week to 2 month trial in which Sean Combs is accused of sexually abusing several women. She is one of three women who are going to be testifying during the trial. And she has said that during her employment for him as a personal assistant from 2008 until 2007, or actually 2009 until 2017, that he first molested her and tried to forcibly kiss her at his 40th birthday party shortly after she got hired, and then months later raped her in a guest room at his home in Los Angeles. And she's been under cross-examination now for 2 days. And while a lot of the lawyers for Sean Combs have been very friendly with some of the witnesses who reluctantly testified for the government, lawyer, Brian Steele, has been very aggressive in cross-examining Mia, and even suggested today that she was making up her allegations, which she insisted was not true, that she's only testified truthfully over the last 3 days. But he again and again confronted her with text messages she had sent to Sean Combs after she was no longer working for him between 2018 and 2023, in which she expressed how much she loved Sean Combs and appreciated how much she'd learned from him, and how her opinions about him would never change. And finally, he asked her directly, how can you say these things? You know, at one point, he even confronted her with a text message in which he said she had a nightmare in which she was in an elevator with singer R. Kelly, who was convicted of charges and is now serving time in prison, similar charges even to this case. But she said she was in an elevator with R. Kelly in this nightmare, and Sean Combs came and rescued her. So then, his lawyer said, well, how can you make these accusations, against, Sean Combs when you're having a nightmare in which he rescues you from someone else who is a convicted abuser of women? And she said it's because she was brainwashed, and that she didn't come out of this until the last year or two. And she said it took therapy and lots of confronting what went on, and for her to change her mind about everything.
That's quite an interesting line of questionary there when we talk about a witness describing a nightmare, so to speak, in a case that is very serious, very sensitive, and as always, viewer discretion advised to anyone that is watching this along with us. Larry, describe to us Diddy's demeanor today in court. How much communication has he had with his lawyers?
Well, lots of communication with the lawyers. He's been very involved, as we've seen day after day, in his defense. Oftentimes, or at least twice that I've seen, he's not allowed his lawyers to finish questioning a witness until he gave the nod of approval. And that's the kind of hands-on involvement in a defense that you don't normally see from a defendant. So he has been hands-on from the start, though, very involved in his defense, and very serious in the courtroom, but also seems somewhat businesslike. You can imagine as you watch him in the courtroom that, yeah, he is the CEO of his companies, and he's a guy who has run successful businesses, as Sean Combs has. So that comes across. The jurors, as always, are extremely attentive, taking notes, facing toward the witness during testimony, no matter who is on the witness stand. It's one of the most alert, pay attention juries I've ever seen.
Larry, we know that the cross-examination of that alleged victim of Diddy continuing on right now. Do we expect that to finish today? And who are we going to hear from next?
Yes, we do expect that to finish today. It's unclear exactly who will be on the stand next because there have been some negotiating going on as to whether or not the defense will ultimately call a witness to kind of cast doubt upon these tapes that were shown early in the trial of Cassandra. Cassie is, what she's known as in the music world, but Cassandra Ventura is how she's known more often in the courtroom. And that was Sean Combs' longtime girlfriend for like nearly 11 years. And there's a widely seen recording of her being attacked by Sean Combs in a hotel room in 2016. That's really become not a hotel room, I'm sorry, in the elevator back at a hotel in Los Angeles. And it's really become a centerpiece of the evidence in the trial. And so there will be witnesses perhaps testifying further about how that recording came to be and its relevance in the trial, and whether the defense will be attacking its legitimacy, whether it was properly made and can be trusted and can be relied upon by the jury, which will be deciding whether or not Sean Combs is guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking, charges that could put him behind bars for from 15 years to life if he's actually convicted.
That video that you're talking about, really the catalyst for everything that we're seeing today. Larry, I know you have to get back in there continuing to cover this, but anything else that you would like to add, maybe something you feel is important to mention as we again enter this fourth week of testimony?
Well, one other way that the defense lawyer was really trying to attack Mia's testimony today was he pointed out that she hired a lawyer who had represented E. Jean Carroll in this very courthouse last year. And during that trial, when E. Jean Carroll had made, allegations against now President Donald Trump. And now, once that lawyer began representing her, the lawyers for Combs maintained, then suddenly you wanted to talk about sexual harassment and being raped and things like that, whereas it was all a secret before then in your eyes, and you had never planned to speak of it at all. But throughout that line of questioning, it was just trying to suggest that she was either making this up entirely, these allegations, or really exaggerating them.
All right, Larry Neumeister, reporter there with the Associated Press. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to be in touch, of course, for the next several weeks as this trial does continue. We'll talk soon. You take care.
Thanks. Bye.